It's the Cochise County Sports Show with Paul and Dave, brought to you by Synergy HomeCare and Sierra Vista Golf Center. Now on Cool FM Live, here's your hosts, Paul Quarter and Dave Davies.
Morning, everyone.
What's all this?
Thank you for joining us on Cool FM Sports, Cool FM Online. For our Cochise County Sports Show, I'm Dave Davies. That is Paul Quarter. Welcome to the new digs.
Oh, yeah. What a studio this is right now. Shout out Dan the Danimal, which is his full name, his full Christian name. But as always, this is brought to you by Synergy HomeCare of Sierra Vista, providing non-medical home care all across Cochise and Santa Cruz County, 520-685-1035.
And also, we may not be sitting there, but this is also brought to you by Sierra Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol. They have Birdie for Bucks tournament coming up here. It's a wonderful cause to get kids some scholarship money. Get out to Sierra Vista Golf Center, sign up for the golf tournament. Let's go out there and have some fun.
Well, speaking of fun, Dave, we were in Bisbee, Arizona for the Warren Ballpark Classic all weekend, but another Bisbee team you said was making some waves.
That's going to be the Bisbee Pumas softball team. We're going to go ahead and take a moment to start this show and talk about them. They won the softball tournament they participated in. They went 4-0 last week.
Let's do the players of the week first.
All right, let's do the players of the week
Let's
first.
do Cochise County's players of the week.
What do you got?
So we're going to do two for each, boys and girls. For the boys, I am wearing a Buena hoodie. Shout out Coach Fernandez. Thank you for the hat as well. So Coach Schaefer can get off our backs for a little bit.
He's mad at me getting all the sweet gear.
No kidding, right?
He shows up with some sweets like, how about this?
Hey, they gave it to me. I'm not going to say no. And, of course, you have to wear it. But let's get to the players of the week. First, from the Buena Colts, Angel Olivares. Angel hit 750 this week. And it wasn't 3 for 4. He went 9 for 12. Also contributed a double, 2 RBI, 3 stolen bases. Actually got on the bump to pitch. 4 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, and an earned run for Angel Olivares. Look at those stats. Oh, my goodness. Dan the man. Oh, we're going to get lost in the sauce.
I was going to say, it's kind of new out here today. Not used to all this.
We'll get to our other boys player of the week, and this is going to be from the Bisbee Pumas. When we normally talk about Bisbee, we talk about Bryson Meyer. Not the case this week. We're going to talk about the Hunter Wright.
I knew it was going to be Hunter.
For the Bisbee Pumas, he hit 500, had 3 doubles, a triple, 7 RBI, also in the Warren Ballpark Classic, 4 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, and only allowed 2 earned runs. So those are your 2 baseball players of the week. Now, over to softball. You touched on this already. You kind of gave a spoiler alert. But last week, Bria Gross, the sophomore for the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets, hit 546 and in one game hit 3 home runs with 10 RBI. She finished with 13 RBI in the week, had 2 doubles. Also pitched 11 innings that week and had 10 strikeouts in all those innings pitched. So congratulations to Bria Gross. And our second player of the week for the Bisbee Lady Pumas, Maria Lopez, tournament champions. You're talking about, Dave. We're going to talk about it in a second.
Oh, I have some stats on that.
800. I believe she had like 16 at bats or something like that. 800 with a home run, 3 RBI, and 2 doubles. So starting off a little bit differently with our players of the week, but congratulations to everyone who got the nod.
I also talk about new gear. Stephen Ward, thanks for the sweet Wilcox hat over there. We appreciate that. Now he gets to wear the pinstripe hat on the golf course because it matches all of his gear.
I do it anyway.
And we also, Coach Schaefer, that one's for you. He went to the game yesterday just to get that bad boy right there.
Shout out Coach Fernandez, because if they didn't give us a hat, I was going to leave the Bueno one off because I was sick about talking about it. But thank you so much, Tommy Fernandez. Coach Cushman as well. Everyone else I didn't meet. A.D. Colvin was there as well. So the boys last night, a little bit rough, but we'll talk about that when it comes up to it. Dave, let's go back to the Bisbee Lady Pumas, champions in Phoenix softball.
Yeah, they are. Again, 4-0 in that week last week. They beat Ray 14-1. They beat Camp Verde 7-4. They beat Ganado 14-1, and they beat Baghdad 11-4. So Our Lady Pumas, by the way, you will be broadcast on Thursday. I'll be out there early to do that game before we cover the huge game, which is the Bisbee Pumas against Hayden, 2A versus 1A state champions. But I will be out there on Thursday to make sure we broadcast you. But yeah, the Bisbee Pumas, Lady Pumas, kicking some butt. They got Valley Union today at home, and then they're going into another tournament. Douglas, Flowing Wells, and Desert View. Are you psychopaths?
That's in Douglas as well.
Yeah, I said, are you psychopaths? But the Lady Pumas, no fear at all. Let's talk about that Ganado game. They won 14-1. Alyssa Lopez, 3 for 4 in that game. The aforementioned Maria Lopez, 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. And then the Beast, Yasleen Hernandez, 2 for 3 in that game. So Lady Pumas, I'll be seeing you on Thursday.
Richard Wilson talking about the Tombstone Yellow Jackets says,
Oh, Coach Yogi's in the house.
She said, and the Bisbee Pumas said, we played both those young ladies. They both crushed the ball, talking about our players of the week, Bria Gross and Maria Lopez. And that Tombstone St. David game, I think it was last week, 15-11. That was a good one.
Yes.
St. David victorious over the two of the three best softball teams in Cochise County. But let's switch over to the Bisbee boys. Dave, the Bisbee Puma baseball team currently sitting 9-3 on the season. They are 1-0 in the region. They went 4-1 last week. What a loss that was. Shout out to the Ray Bearcats.
I wasn't going to do it.
Show.
They're not for Cochise County, but the Ray Bearcats, I told these kids in the field, 20 years from now, you're going to wake up and realize what you did. They beat the Bisbee Pumas. They beat the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. They beat the Wilcox Cowboys. So.
I don't understand. They have losses to San Manuel, who everyone in
who
Cochise
lost 25
to
nothing in that tournament.
No, San Miguel lost. It doesn't even matter. But wow, shout out to the Ray Bearcats, but also shout out to the Bisbee Pumas. And we'll start off our coverage talking about. Real quick, the stats are messed up on here,
because
so
we were at Warren Ballpark all week. I have a bone to pick with God. Did you see the weather on Sunday? It was beautiful. We were out there Wednesday through Saturday freezing our butts off to watch these games, and then Sunday it was perfect. You're like, of course.
I'll tell you what, I think I'm feeling the effects now. You called me last night. I was like, I just had a wave of illness come over me, brother. I'm sorry.
I told you were going to end up in the hospital.
We're going to talk about the Pumas. We're going to lead off with Bryson Meyer. Bryson Meyer, not the eye-popping numbers that we're used to on paper or in person, but he's hit 600 last week.
The efficiency is off the charts.
He hit 2 doubles, 4 RBI, and he walked 4 times. He walked each game, so his eye is on point as well. And, of course, you have to play him when he's on the mound. He threw 6 innings, 11 strikeouts, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and a victory for Bryson.
Well, and Bryson's going to be the same thing as the Pumas. He's going to have a bullseye on his back because he is the player of the year.
Yeah.
And so he's not getting a lot of pitches to hit, but his efficiency is off the charts. He's killing it right now.
We'll talk about Hunter Wright. We already talked about him as one of our players of the week, and this was surprising to me. Hunter really starting to get it done. 500, 3 doubles, a triple, 7 RBI, 4 innings pitched, 8 Ks, and 2 earned runs. Of course, he was our player of the week. We already talked about him.
It's Hunty Wright.
It's not Hunty Wright. That was the most annoying thing you did. I swear.
No, it's the fans. It's all the fans.
I heard them too.
It's Hunty.
And rounding out the top 3 players that I thought for the Bisbee Pumas this week, Ross Olivaria. How could you not? Hitting .671 last week, 2 doubles, a triple, and 3 RBI for the Bisbee Pumas. We're going to transition now over to the Benson Bobcats. Dave, you're going to have a lot to say about them because, again, Coach Montillo, Coach Trujillo, no stats for the Benson boys Bobcats.
I should take this hat right off the table.
No kidding, right? But they are 4-9.
Every time you don't put your stats on, I'm just going to take the hats off.
They are 4-9. They went 1-3 last week. They were in the Lancer Baseball Classic in Tucson, playing a lot stiffer competition with the 4A and the 5A schools. They do host St. Augustine Catholic. Oh, they already did. That was yesterday. They won that one. They are at Pima tomorrow, and then Friday at Horizon Honors. So it doesn't get too much easier for the Benson Bobcats, and if they're going to start making this run that we expect, we're never going to write the Bobcats off, but they really need to start putting it in gear.
We're at the same point last year. And by the way, careful at Pima. They have superior athletes. So when you go out there, be careful. But they're at the exact same point they were last year where we're kind of like, oh, man, it's not the year for Benson. And next thing you know, in the semifinals.
So, and with the lead, what was it, 4-0 against the Pumas?
They were up 4-0 on the Pumas, yeah. Coach Trujillo, Coach Montillo, I will pull your hat, I swear to you. But so let's get some stats up there. Let's talk about the Benson Lady Bobcats. 3-6 on their season, 1-2 in their region. 0 for 3 last week. They lost to Tombstone, St. David, Horizon Honors. No shame in that game. They're in a tournament this week. They have Santa Cruz Valley, they have Mogollon, they have Dobson. Again, no stats on the Lady Bobcats. All I know is that Sierra Olson and Karis Taylor, a sophomore and a freshman, are doing really well this year.
Karis Taylor sounds familiar.
Yeah, Karis Taylor. Yes, another baby Taylor. But yeah, the sophomore, the freshman, Sierra Olson and Karis Taylor are doing really well. I have no stats. Bobcats, come on, baby.
Well, the thing about that as well, Dave, is I was talking to shout out Amy Taylor, mom of Kaylee Taylor. And She said, Karis might be a little bit better. I don't know about basketball, but
well, it's the same thing with Asher Ward and Landon Ward. Where you're like, all right, you're trying to sell me that this okay, like those are big shoes.
The younger brothers always competed against younger siblings, always competed against the older siblings, and so they've gotten their best, while you're developing your best. So.
All right. Well, I'm going to transition over to our Wilcox Cowgirls.
Okay.
They're
starting to put it together.
What's that? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's right. Yeah, they're 5-5, 2-1. We're talking about the Bisbee Pumas winning that tournament. They beat Bisbee 15-7, and then they beat Morenci 10-0. So the Wilcox Lady Cowgirls are coming on. They have no games this week, which is very odd. But let's talk about that 10-0 Morenci game. Natalie Thompson, 2 for 3, a ribby and 2 runs, and Layla Donahue, 2 for 2 with 2 runs. So Cowgirls, we see you. Don't trust me. I see everything, and I see what you're doing.
It's not as pleasant for the Wilcox Cowboys, Dave, as they are 3-7-1 on the season. They are 1-2 in their region, and they went 1-4 at the Warren Ballpark Classic, and they had a game against Bisbee earlier that week that they had lost. And I'm going to try to do these stats right. The computer messed everything up. It's not chicken scratch handwriting this time.
I see that.
Yeah. You see the second row here. Everything kind of got discombobulated. It is what it is. But we're going to talk about Ty Scholl for the Wilcox Cowboys. Still the bright shining star as he hit 417, 3 RBI, also pitched 5 innings this week and had 6 strikeouts. I do believe that might have been their only win. Anthony Morales hit 363 this week, had a triple, 3 runs, and 2 stolen bases. And freshman Asher Ward hit 287, 2 runs, an RBI, and a stolen base for the Wilcox Cowboys.
And 3 diving catches in center field.
It's the same story for the Bobcats and the Cowboys as it was last year. It's just taking a little bit longer to rebuild. But if you think I'm writing off either the Cowboys or the Bobcats, you're sadly mistaken. They easily make a run and go back to that tournament.
Well, and we know what's going on with Wilcox right now. It's defense. It's the fundamental stuff.
Same story.
It's fun. Listen to your coach. Do the fundamental stuff. Follow through on these plays. We know what's going on in Wilcox right now. Just shore it up defensively, and you're going to be fine. Ty Scholl at the Warren Ballpark Classic. Hey, Dave, you see how well I play every time you're in the stadium? I'm like, I sure do, Ty. I sure do.
Shout out to the boys coming up and talking to us and all that stuff. It was very fun. Of course, this is who we do it for DJ.
Hanging out with DJ, hanging out with the Wilcox kids. Oh, and of course, our Bisbee boys. But yes.
And we get to figure out some information about maybe next level sports that are going on. I'm not going to break any information, but a lot of cool things coming for our 2A kids.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Well, speaking of DJ Elias and the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. Oh, no, these stats got messed up too. But they are currently 8-3-1 on the season, 2-0 in region. They were 3-1 last week, I'm pretty sure. I can't see it. And, so let's talk about some of the Tombstone
Well, they lost to Ray.
Jackets.
I mean, everybody loses to Ray. The Yankees lost to Ray.
5-2, which is, again,
I was at that game.
When we talked about the tournament, you're going to have to throw pitchers that aren't in your everyday rotation. I know Kelly Bliss is a great pitcher, and he threw as a freshman a lot, but he's their everyday shortstop.
Yeah.
What was surprising to me about that game is the 2 runs they had. Because when we talk about Cochise County sports, we talk about Tombstone, Bisbee, and Buena as these unstoppable offenses. And they had 2 runs against the Ray Bearcats. Great team, we found out. But that was a little bit surprising to say.
It was so surprising. I remember the name of the pitcher. It was RJ Nunez. But again, the Tombstone and Bisbee, both of them are following a similar path right now where the offenses aren't catching up with the defense and the pitching. Like everything on the team is wonderful. The offenses just aren't really clicking. It's weird to say that about a team that's winning so much, but that's just what's going on right now where the Tombstone bats haven't caught up with the pitching and the defense. But they will.
Here we go. I think I found some stats. There we go. Eric Kohler hit 333 last week with 2 doubles, and the reason he's on here, the leading RBI man for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets last week in 4 games, 7 RBI for Eric Kohler. Kelly Bliss is another player I want to talk about. Hit 429 last week, a double, a triple, 3 RBI, and 3 stolen bases for Kelly Bliss. I didn't get his pitching numbers, so that's on me. And I want to talk about Trey Franklin, 455, a triple, 4 RBI last week, 7 stolen bases. Watch out, Sebastian Lopez. Trey Franklin coming for your crown.
Well, and I know you spent some time talking with, again, it's not a one-man show, but I know you spent some time talking with DJ, and the first thing he had to say to me was tall Trey Franklin. He's like, Trey is killing it this year.
He
and I
is.
was like, okay, DJ.
Well, and DJ had himself a week too, but I mean, we always talk about DJ, so let's get some stats.
My call of the year, DJ. Click, click, see ya. Oh, my good Lord. I had Nelson laughing in the booth.
I'll tell you what, I broadcast Tombstone 2-3 times this year, and at the Warren Ballpark Classic, DJ Elias hit 4 home runs foul.
Yeah.
So
he had one in my game too.
The wind was coming in off the mountains from the right to the left. He just kept pushing that ball foul, but man, they're fun to. All these teams are fun to watch.
Tombstone and Bisbee are on a collision course, baby. Like it's coming. Let's talk about our Lady Yellow Jackets. Whew, man, oh man! You know what's so funny about this? When we get to the stats, like you can literally just pick whoever you want.
I did talk to the Lady Yellow Jackets, and they're very confident. But they were talking about going to Empire, this softball Empire.
Yeah.
And they were nervous, and I said, "Look, you get in between the lines. It's just softball. It's just a game. Just play it the way you've always played it."
Yeah. So last week, 3-0, beat Thatcher 15-2, beat St. David 15-11. That was crazy. And then they beat Benson 27-6. Whew. All right, let's talk about that Benson game. Again, you can pick whatever Yellow Jackets you want, like when you're doing the stats. So in this game, let's go with Bella Lopez, 4 for 5, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Let's go with Brianna True, 3 for 3 with an RBI, 4 runs scored. Let's go with a new name, Violet Schmidt, 2 for 2, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. It's a factory. And like you mentioned, they're at that Empire tourney this week. They're going to have 3 games, St. Mary's, Borcade Catholic. So Lady Yellow Jackets, keep it up, baby. Let's go.
Absolutely. And they're starting to hit their stride, too. I mean, Tombstone was scheduling Cienega and all these 5A teams. And they were competitive in them.
Yeah.
So we know how good the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets are, which makes you think, how good are the St. David Lady Tigers? And I'm just going to throw it over to you, Dave. How good are the St. David Lady Tigers?
Well, we don't have a lot on them this week.
Coach Yogi's in our chat.
Well, they're 3-1. They're 0-0 in their region. They only had 1 game last week. They beat Benson 13-3. They do play Baba Kivry today, and then they're at a tournament. Flowing Wells. This is the one that blew my mind. St. David. They're in a tournament with Flowing Wells, Nogales, and then San Simone. I'm like, are you
shout
nuts?
out San Simone.
Are you nuts? But they're playing Nogales in softball. I'm like, 5A, 1A. Sure, let's do this. But let's talk about the Benson game. The only game they won this week, 13-3. Emmeline Hawkes, 2 for 5, 4 RBIs and a run. Paisley Gooding, 2 for 3 and a run scored. All they do is win, no matter what. But they're going to go play Nogales. Beat Nogales, okay? Like, show me what time it is. So
Nogales baseball. We didn't see anything with the softball, but Nogales baseball national championship man.
Yeah, it's Nogales.
Spring sports are very.
That's the team that Buena goes like this when they go to play. You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, we have Nogales." You're like, "Oh my god."
Why would you even say that?
No. I'm just saying
at all.
No. Nogales is elite. Like at all things baseball,
no, they are.
softball.
And their little league team is amazing too. And
Exactly.
shout out to anyone from Nogales watching, because I know when it's Little League baseball season, they always watch the boys.
They're more into their Little League team than they are their high school team. Like Nogales is just crazy like that. But anyway, I saw St. David scheduled Nogales, and I was like, okay, sure.
That's awesome. We'll get over to the St. David boys Tigers. Are currently 2-4-1 on the season, 0-0 in regions. They went 1-3-1 over the last week, including the Warren Ballpark Classic. And these are where the stats kind of get messed up. So I'm just going to give shout outs to Clark Wilson, freshman for the St. David Tigers. He had himself a great week. Also, Owen Judd for the St. David Tigers, and I had all the stats down, but they're so convoluted I can't even find them.
Well, we watched them 3 times in the tournament. Luke Haymore is looking good behind the plate.
And Luke Haymore was the third one.
Yeah, Luke Haymore is looking good behind the plate. I mean, we know St. David's just a young team.
But the St. David Tigers, it comes out to, and kind of Tombstone figured this out too when they lost their number 2 player, who I can't remember right now. Their number 2 pitcher, he had 11 strikeouts in a game before he got hurt, by the way. But it's
Rincon?
Injuries.
Rincon?
No. The junior, the tall kid I was telling you.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about it. Usually can recall him right off the top of the head, but yeah, so the St. David Tigers had lost their top 2 arms, and they're still scrambling to figure it out. We saw Grant Haymore. He's throwing a lot. He's just a freshman, so he's got a lot to develop with his arm before he's top of the tops in AIA baseball. But St. David Tigers have still got that offense, and they were able to take a victory over the Wilcox Cowboys, so maybe things starting to turn for them.
Yeah, it's again, we got to see a lot of them. Again, the Wilcox, St. David, Benson, again, these are teams that we expect to turn this thing on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, let's go over to our other AIA 1A team, the Valley Union Blue Devils. They are 3-0 in the season, and they went 1-0 last week. They have 2 games this week. Of course, tonight they're going to be playing the Bisbee Pumas in a game that I will be at. For sure.
I didn't know that.
It's Cochise on Cochise. You can't miss
I didn't
Cochise
know,
on Cochise.
I took today off of work. I'm going to sit at home and watch that game.
There you go. They have another game, and again, all this got convoluted, so I think it's Round Valley. Who knows? But we're going to talk about the Valley Union Blue Devils, and I do have their stats. Steven De La Cruz in that game went 2 for 4, 3 RBI, 3 stolen bases, threw a 5-inning shutout, and recorded 10 strikeouts. So we were always looking with Valley Union, who's the second arm behind Dylan Mitchell. Steven De La Cruz is making his case.
That name is coming up a lot. By the way, Valley Union, I have you on my schedule.
Ooh.
I'm going to be going out to Valley Union. I believe it's next Monday. So better put on a show for Cool FM.
After today, they're going to have 50% of their games broadcast. So.
Yeah, right?
Valley Union getting all the Cool FM love. Marshall Larson also had a very big game, albeit I can't figure it out for the life of me. I think he might have been 667.
Marshall Larson, the football player. I know that kid.
Yeah. And his brother Travis from Wilcox County.
Yeah.
Or cousin, brother, whatever.
There it is, next Monday, March 24th. I'll see you in Valley Union.
Marshall hit 667, walked 4 times, 2 RBI, a double this last week. And then also, when you talk Valley Union, you talk about Dylan Mitchell, who threw 2 innings and had 5 strikeouts, also had really good numbers at the plate, but again, I lost him. So.
I think Steven De La Cruz got tired of the Dylan Mitchell talk. He's like, you know what? Let me tell you a little bit about Steven De La Cruz.
Shout out Valley Union Blue Devils, and I did get response that Kylie Gilbreth and if Lexi Balls can play in the tournament, they will be wearing their jerseys too.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
And we'll talk about that after the show. Don't forget.
I won't. Let's talk about the Valley Union ladies. 2-2 on the year, 1-1 in their regions. They did lose to Winslow last week, but they did beat Baba Kibbery. We always happy when anybody can beat Baba Kibbery. 22-16. There's a game for you. Let's see. They are on the road. I can't read my handwriting there. Bisbee. There it is. I can read that. And then they're home against San Simone, home against San Miguel. But let's see. The Baba Kibbery game, no stats. No stats. Valley Union. So I capitalized it. No
San
stats.
Simone, shout out San Simone softball team. I think it's the first time they fielded a softball team in 20 years for varsity.
Unfortunately, I have no information on that team.
Come on.
No, there's no information on this team.
We'll get there.
No, it says they're 2-1. That's all it says. It says they're 2-1. That's all I know about San Simone. They're 2-1.
Oh, Dan, the man's even got the Longhorn logo up. Look at him go. He's prepared for everything. Try to throw him a little curveball.
Yeah, so I got nothing on the San Simone girls. You got anything on the boys?
No, the boys do not field a varsity baseball team. They have a JV schedule, and I know that they've been playing a lot of teams across Cochise County, including the state champion Pumas. So
all I know about San Simone ladies is they're 2-1, but we're going to learn more about them because they're going to be playing Valley Union. So we'll learn more about San Simone.
Hey, shout out to the Longhorns trying to get those athletic programs back to the varsity AIAs. And maybe I was going to say they go to Canyon Athletic because they're so far away. Every time one of our Breen or ALA teams play, they have to go up to Prescott.
God knows where, yes.
And Flagstaff, and 5-hour trips. So, I mean, we got to figure something out to get these games closer, especially for the CAA. I think that's going to do it for our 1A coverage. Dave, do you have Breen? They don't have a softball team.
There's nothing on Breen now.
All right, let's go over to our 4A team. We're going to start with the Douglas Bulldogs, and they had themselves a very, very disappointing week. They went 0-3-1 last week. They're going to play Sabino tomorrow and then host Casa Grande on the 21st, which was on my schedule. But I have my daughter's dance competition to go to, so that was
on Friday? Because, I'm not able to make that one either.
Buena plays Friday as well. Hopefully we can get a game on Cool FM for everybody. We'll see what happens. I'll be in Phoenix. But the Douglas Bulldogs, Dave, 0-3-1. I did talk to our I'll just call him, we'll say it, Bruce. I've heard everyone else call him. I talked to Bruce, and he said he reached out to Coach Ochoa, and he's like, what happened? No text back. So, But in that last week, Andres Ortiz did have himself a good week. Hit 500, 3 RBI, 3 stolen bases. Ivan Aguirre had 5 stolen bases and an RBI. And freshman Christopher Escarcega continues to light the world on fire for the Douglas Bulldogs. freshman.
I said we've heard this name multiple times this year.
400, hit 2 RBI, scored 2 runs, and stole a base. But something went wrong for the Douglas Bulldogs, and we knew their pitching was going to be a challenge. They lost Isaac Montano last year. They even lost Isaac Aguirre. You forget because he was only a closer.
Yeah.
But that's a big loss. And so Douglas has got some stuff to figure out.
Pun intended, sure. Big loss.
He was a big boy. He might have been bigger than me and taller than you.
All right.
I wonder if he's next level.
And one more time, let's do this with the no stat line. The Douglas Lady Bulldogs, they're 4-1. They're 0-0 in their region. All they do is their first loss of the year was the Casa Grande, 13-3. But they're 4-1, and I don't even know who's on the team. Like
no rosters or anything?
Nothing.
Wow.
Come on, Douglas, help a brother out.
And guys, we are starting to put in our players of the week, but we cannot get your school nominated if we don't have stats. We use everything through Max Preps. We'd like to delve through all these apps, but it took me 4 hours because of my illness last night.
I was there doing this. Yeah. But I mean, again, the 4-1, you probably would have some players of the week on here if we knew who they were. They're at a tournament this week, or they're
hosting a tournament.
Yeah, they're hosting a tournament. They're at Sabino, and then they're going to be playing Bisbee and Nogales. So they're going to be 7-1 or what? I don't know, but we're never going to know. So I got no stats on the Douglas Lady Bulldogs. I would love to have some stats on the Douglas Lady Bulldogs. So help a brother out. And I'm going to go ahead.
Last team.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, we have good news. The Buena Colts are 1-11.
I saw they won their first
game.
They're
1-11. They did lose to Cienega. They did lose to Empire, but they beat Catalina Foothills 13-0. Way to put a stamp on it, girls. Love to see it. They're at Vista Grand this week. But let's talk about that Catalina Foothills game. Another name we've been hearing all year long, Ariella Antman. 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And Ariana Garcia, 2 for 4, 2 runs. So they got off the schneid with a 13-0 victory. Congratulations, girls. I bet that was a fun bus ride.
Well, you talked about Catalina Foothills. Maybe the softball team's not up to scratch with the baseball team because Max Prep says Catalina Foothills is the second best 5A team in the state of Arizona.
Really?
They're 20th
We've
ranked.
been to that beautiful high school for basketball.
I swear.
Oh, my God.
And that includes Canyon Del Oro, who they are ranked ahead of. Canyon Del Oro made the jump from 4A to 5A. Shout out Douglas.
Good. They need some competition.
When you have Major League Baseball players taking their picture on the side of the stadium,
you're not wrong.
They should be 7A at that point. There's no 7A.
Yeah, good victory over Catalina Foothills, girls.
But this week, yes, the Buena Colts did play Catalina Foothills on a game we saw on Cool FM Live. They lost 10-8.
Yeah.
So it's a tough loss for the Buena Colts. And it was all in the first couple of innings too. And after that, pitching finally settled in for the Buena Colts. They do have the player of the week, Angel Oliveras. We know that. But they're 7-4 overall. They went 3-1 last week, not including the Catalina Foothills game because that's this week. I'm trying to separate the weeks as best I can. They do play at Vista Grand, like you said, tomorrow, and then they host Sunnyside on the 21st, which is a Friday, which is the same day Douglas has a game. So something should be going on Cool FM.
Oh, obviously, maybe Jeff will be at the Buena game. I said, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to be at the Douglas game. I'm a grandfather. I have grandpa duties, so sorry, Douglas. I won't be able to see you on Friday. I have to take care of the grandkids.
It's tough, but I will be out to Douglas Monday. I'm making it a point because they do have a home game Monday.
Well, I'm going to be at Valley Union on Monday, so one of us is going on the sports page, and one of us is going either way.
Maybe we're not. Who knows what's going on? I'm sorry, but we're going to figure this out.
We do our best to cover every team possible. That's why we love the tournaments, like the Warren Ballpark Classic, where he was out there all day on Friday. I was out there Thursday. Freezing. I was out there Thursday and Saturday.
Shout out to the Bisbee Thrift Store, which is a store I did not know existed. I got a lot of warm clothes from that play.
Shout out to Jeremy Meyer for putting a heater in that booth.
Shout out Jeremy Meyer. Let's talk about the Buena Colts. We did run through Angel Oliveras, who was one of our players of the week for baseball. 750, a double, 2 RBI, 3 stolen bases, 3 strikeouts in 4 innings, and only 1 earned run. Let's talk about Brandon Brown. Brandon Brown's a name that I've been seeing pop up, and Cushman and all the boys over there have been slightly better. But Brandon Brown, 625 last week. That's right, 625. Their top 2 hitters are 750 and 625. He had 3 RBIs and 3 doubles in that game. And then we're going to talk about Bryson Haymore, another Haymore in Cochise County. Who'd have thought? 357 last week, 1 home run. That's why he got on here. And also a double, a triple, and 2 RBIs. So, like you said, Dave, the pitching for the Colts, who's going to be throwing behind Cushman is the big question. But right now, there's just not an offense clicking on more cylinders than the Buena Colts.
He's got to shore up that pitching, and then the world is your oyster, Buena.
The world is, I mean, that is such a good loss. Maybe the Buena Colts find themselves at the top of the power rankings. Who knows what's going on? I think that's a great transition, Dave.
I bet it is. So
you intro it.
It's time for Paul Quarter's baseball power rankings.
It's time for Paul's power rankings.
And last week was the Bisbee Pumas at number 1. So, all right, well, we got the
let's take
that
the
one goes all the way
Marine
down
hat.
here.
Yes, the Marine hat because they're not fielding a team. And let's get all these hats in order. Maybe some surprises. We know that the Ray Bearcats shook up a lot of stuff in these rankings, but we're going to start.
I went up to their coaches before that last game against Wilcox. I said, "Who are you? Like, who are you? First of all, who do you think you are coming down here and giving all of our teams the what for?"
All right, so we're going to start off, and as much as this kills both of us, the Wilcox Cowboys at number 8. We had a head-to-head game with the St. David Tigers, and the St. David Tigers beat the Cowboys 10-1. So how could you not put St. David ahead of the Cowboys here? We're going to take that off.
No, I love you, Wilcox. I still have Wilcox games on my schedule.
We're not writing anyone off. And as we said,
I'm not writing anybody off. I have Benson on my schedule. I have Wilcox on my schedule. I'm still going to be there.
Just because you're 8th in Cochise County, that means you're like 8th in the state. Cochise County's got state champions everywhere, especially in baseball.
Big facts.
Let's go take us to the Wilcox Cowboys and St. David Tigers, and jumping up one spot from last week, the undefeated Valley Union Blue Devils, who take on the Bisbee Pumas. So everything in front of them.
That's today, you said?
Oh, yeah. There's so many different spots they can go to.
Valley Union, everybody knows, Bisbee, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and give my boys a beating. I would love it. I would love it.
Man, you're just making enemies everywhere today. You're going to have Buena and Bisbee mad at you by the end of this.
I was saying, I would love to see Steve Dylan Cruz and Dylan Mitchell going to Bisbee, going to Warren Ballpark and win. That's a tough environment. I would love to see it.
Just outside our top 5, we talked about how bad the Douglas Bulldogs week went. I'm still going to put Benson there. I can't drop the Douglas Bulldogs from that 4th spot just yet. So we have Benson, then we have Douglas.
I can't wait for Benson to turn this thing around. Just like last year, like first Pete, now repeat. Like they're going right back. Like I can't wait for them to turn this thing around.
There is a shakeup with the top 2 teams. Number 3, the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. And you might be saying to yourself, well, everyone lost to Ray.
They lost to Ray. I'm like,
everyone lost. It's the way they lost to Ray. Because I can overlook the pitching. And Kelly Bliss, great job, only let up 5 runs against the Ray Bearcats. But they had a game where they scored 2 runs and a game where they scored 3 runs. Now it's baseball; it's going to happen.
Well, a lot of stranded base runners in that Ray game, though. A lot of them.
So that leaves 2 teams, just like football season, except St. David's down here. Who's going to be number 1? I'm not moving the champs.
No.
Buena goes up to number 2.
They're the champs.
Bisbee, number 1. They're still the champs until further notice. But that notice is getting a lot closer after that 2-run loss to the number 2 team in the state from the Buena Colts. So those are your power rankings, Dave, one time before. Then we got Wilcox, St. David, Valley Union, Benson, Douglas, Tombstone, Buena, and the Bisbee Pumas. Shout out Marine Academy. Coach Jalen Champton as well, if he ever watches our show, if it's not football season.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you got to beat the champ to be the champ. And the Bisbee Pumas, they're the champs. And they lost to Ray.
They did lose to Ray, but again.
No, they came back from 6-1 in the last inning to take the lead in that game.
I was there. I broadcast that.
Yes.
By the way, Danimal, you need to make a highlight clip of the Horacio Olivaria home run inside the park home run where the ball didn't leave the infield. That was hilarious. But
You're right.
So,
they were throwing that thing all over the field.
But it was tough. It was very tough. I think that's going to bring us to. You got some questions, brother?
I do. All right. So, like I said, we're going to put Dan the Man on the spot here because he knows what I'm going to ask you. So he's got me curious. So we watched the players all weekend.
3-question quizzy for Pizzy.
3-question quizzy for Pizzy. We watched the players all weekend. We watched Rory McIlroy win the players. We all know about the 17th of Sawgrass. It plays 145 to 160 yards. Could you hit the island green with one shot?
With one
shot at the 17th of Sawgrass. Can you? Now, folks, I don't have the ball flight to, like, if I were to hit the green, my ball's going, it's going to hit the green and go into the water because I don't have the ball flight. Like, my ball comes in a little lower. His ball goes like this.
I do hit
So-
the ball very, very
So,
high.
so do you hit the green with one shot at 17th at Sawgrass?
the first thing I would say is it tour conditions? And the second thing I would say is it does not matter because consistent accuracy. So I could do it at Suelo. They have that island green in Tucson, gorgeous course. Or it used to be when U of A played there. I haven't been there lately. But my first shot, I'm going to say no.
You're putting it in the drink.
For sure.
Like I know that I can get the ball there, but again, my trajectory isn't high enough. So even if I hit the green, that thing is skipping off the back. Like there's no way I can hold that. Green.
I can hold it if I get it, but every now and again there's just that random fade that comes from out of nowhere on my swing, and so I just feel like because it's so intimidating, you're gonna.
It's only 145 yards.
We say the kids during baseball season when they're struggling on the mound, don't try to place the ball. But how do you not? It's the same thing with golf. How do you not try to place the ball on the green when you see nothing but ocean around you?
Yeah,
It's
every time you watch the players, you just want to shoot this shot. You want to hit this ball onto the 17th at Sawgrass.
Well, yeah, everyone goes that way. There's a couple holes in Sawgrass I like to play where they have the hole with the cutout creek right in front of the green, and then
I was watching that. I would lose so many balls on that course. Oh my God.
Would you crack 100 at Sawgrass? Probably.
No. Oh no. Me? Oh no. God no. You? Maybe.
It depends. I mean, well, everything.
It depends on whether you're playing with Amar or not.
Everything's a drop zone. Everything's red stakes. So that's good.
All right. Let's go to
what a question.
So the second question for Pizzy. It is March Madness time. It's NCAA tournament week. With your very limited knowledge, tell us a team that can win this whole thing.
Missouri bleeping Tigers, Dave.
Now that's funny.
That's who's going to win the tournament. Now, they can't play defense to save their lives, but you want to watch exciting basketball. 93-87 average score for the Missouri Tigers. You know who's not winning? The Kansas Jayhawks. Sorry to the fan I have from Cochise College that also loves Kansas.
You know what? For the first time in 20 years, if we live down here in Cochise County, Arizona, southeast Arizona, for the first time in 20 years, the U of A Wildcats are going into that tournament, and I got nothing. Like every other year, you can be like, you know what? Maybe U of A.
Maybe. No. And I watched they made the title game, the Big 12 title game. I was watching part of that.
And then,
let's see. It's kind of. What's Cooper Flagg's injury?
Well, no. Cooper Flagg at worst is going to miss the first game.
Okay.
Duke actually got the easiest path in the tournament, even though they're not the 1 seed. Auburn is the 1 seed, but they gave Duke the easy path. So Duke, I mean, again, it's a tournament. It's
an SEC team this year.
Well, no. Did you see what happened? Only 2 SEC teams didn't make the tournament.
Oh yeah.
Like that's crazy.
No, it's been a thing. They was it 16 SEC teams or 14 now, and they're just like every SEC team should make the tournament. It's that tough. So you want to go Florida or Tennessee. I mean, there's so many. I said Missouri, obviously, because I'm a Missouri homer. U of
That's
A's
funny
got
that you said that. We'll get to
U
that.
of A's got a shot, but I didn't see the bracket how it shaked out or anything like that. But I can't pick against Duke this year.
U of A does not have a shot. But I mean, it's a tournament.
Everyone's got a shot.
We have a double-digit seed in the Sweet 16 every year now. Like it's so unpredictable. What they say? It's 1 in 6.2 quadrillion or something to pick a correct bracket. Like it's not possible.
Right.
It's literally not possible. They said you can win the Powerball twice in a
brackets.
year.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And they said you can win the Powerball twice in a year before you can pick a correct bracket. So, all right. And our last question for you. This is interesting. I'm just curious on your thoughts on this. Angel Reese came out this week and said that in 5 years, the WNBA will be bigger than Major League Baseball.
No.
What are your thoughts on that?
If she would have said NBA basketball, that would have been a better comparison.
Oh, shots fired.
I wouldn't even say shots fired. I think right now the ladies' game is getting a little more compelling than NBA basketball because there's more to it. Sure, you have Caitlin Clark that jacks up the threes or whatever, but I feel like underneath, if the ladies could finish next to the rim after offensive rebounds a little bit better.
Angel Reese.
Yeah, exactly. that the WNBA would be a hot button topic on sports shows. I don't think they're going to catch baseball because baseball's got too much forward momentum, and they're making the game international. You saw they started at Tokyo earlier this morning.
Yes. Otani was shaking like a leaf.
So they don't have gambling. I'm sorry. I don't want to get him going. I'm sorry, but
I would say it was funny how nervous Otani looked over there. That's really funny.
But yeah, I wouldn't say baseball. I think baseball's got so much momentum. They did everything right. They shortened the game, which, being purists as we are, for me, an hour and a half game is a little too short because I forget all the time when the games are on. So an hour later, I'm looking at the game and starting the 8th.
Yeah. You're like, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
So, but I understand why they did it, and they made it more exciting. So baseball, with all this positive trajectory, I don't think WNBA catches them. She also said the WNBA should go on strike, which is interesting because it's in the red and it's a subsidized league in the first place. So I don't think that's going to have the effect that they thought. But I think WNBA basketball is going to keep growing and growing. And I broadcast Cochise College. You were there with me for a ladies game as well. And we saw Michaela Silas and KK Asbury. And all these ladies are so much better than what we watched growing up. There was, of course, the Cheryl Hoops and
they're so
Cheryl
good
Miller,
that I don't even understand the WNBA because that level of basketball Cochise College is insane.
Yeah.
And so it's yeah. But I only have one comment to make because I know Angel Reese is watching this.
Yeah, of course.
Juan Soto can buy your league by himself. Okay, so knock it off, Angel Reese. Juan Soto is literally worth more than the WNBA. So knock it off. The third baseman for the Mets can buy your entire league. So I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, no kidding. Right? We have another comment in the chat. Thank you, Coach Yogi.
He says, question for Paul. Lights came out. Dan, what's going on? He said, question for Paul. Does your daughter dance like mom or dad? Hopefully mom. Well, because her daughter doesn't dance. Yes, she well, actually, she dances better than both of us.
She can dance if she wants to. She can leave her friends behind. Because her friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, then they're no friends of mine.
She's a competitive dancer, so she dances better than both of us combined, which is not saying much because it's 99.9% Barbie than 0.1% me. But
I was like, I can't dance.
Anyway, yeah, there we go, folks. There is your 3-question quizzy for Pizzy. We got through the power rankings, and that leads us to one last segment. He's ranting, he's raving. That's what we call Dave, and it's time for Dave's diatribe. Dave, take it away, brother.
Well, we did this last year because it's NCAA tournament time, so we're going to do this again. Here's a name you need to know. You ready for this one? His name is Bennett Sturtz. He is a first-year D1 player. He came out of Missouri high school basketball, completely unranked. Nobody cared about Bennett Sturtz. And there was one guy, Coach Ben McCullum for Northwestern Missouri State, took a flyer on Bennett Sturtz.
Bearcats, right?
I don't know what their mascot is,
sure.
but all I know is that Northwest Missouri State won 4 titles since 2017. Coach McCollum knows exactly what he's doing. He brought over Bennett Sturtz. He took a flyer on this kid. This kid ended up winning Freshman of the Year in 2023 in that conference. So what Coach McCollum, this is an ongoing trend. Coach McCollum got promoted to a D1 school. This has happened this will be the 3rd year in a row now where this D2 coach brought his players with him to his D1 school. That's going to be Drake. That he's now coaching for Drake. He brought 4 of his players, the most important one of them being Bennett Sturtz. And so last year, we had a coach do this and went to the Elite 8. And then the year before, we had a coach do this, go to Sweet 16. So this is the year. This year, it's going to be Drake. They went 30-3 on the year. Bennett Sturtz won Conference Player of the Year, averaging 19, 6, and 4, 39% from 3, 80% from the free throw line. Drake is going to go into the Sweet 16. You know who they open with? The Missouri Tigers, baby, on Thursday. Woo! Bennett Sturtz and Drake is going to the Sweet 16. Mark it.
I doubt that's going to happen.
You
want to watch some fun basketball? You watch the Missouri Tigers play basketball.
They're going to get smoked.
Double-digit times they've gone. It's been a 100-point game for the Tigers. So. And it's not like they play very risk-reward defense. I'll say that. It's not like they don't give effort, but they really
We're going to be in Bisbee doing the game on Thursday, and I'm going to have the phone up, and we're going to be watching Drake smoke the Missouri Tigers right out of that tournament.
What a segue, Dave. We're going to be at Bisbee, Arizona for Valley Union in Bisbee today. We were at Buena yesterday. Thursday is going to be our high school game of the week. The Hayden Lobos, the champions of 1A baseball, come to take on the champions of 2A baseball at Warren Ballpark, the Bisbee Pumas.
Sorry, Hayden. I will be so Bisbee'd out, it's going to make you sick. I'm going to have red and black face paint on, all right?
Douglas Buena, I promise I'm going to try to guilt trip Dave enough to go into one of your games Friday. We did have it on the schedule, but that's going to be our week for baseball, and we could not be more excited about that one. And as Dave said, softball. We're going to go ahead and try to get out.
Oh no, I will be there. You can go to the baseball field and set up. I will be there for the softball game. And if you run long, which you won't, because I know you'll win by double digits early for me, right, girls? And then I'll be joining you over at Warren Ballpark for the boys.
You're a sweetheart. And don't forget, next weekend is the Cochise County All-Cochisian All-Star Game.
How you like that video that my boys made, huh? How you like that one?
It was a great video.
Woo!
Shout out C.J. Williams and Jamin Booker. for putting on, and the timing on it couldn't have been better. It's not like they've done that before. And we will broadcast that All-Star game live on Cool FM starting at 5:30 and 7. The kids, if you haven't heard from your athletic directors or coaches, it's tough to get a hold of some of these schools. Bring your own jerseys.
If you're on Dave's team, we're wearing the whites.
Just bring them both.
Yes, okay.
Bring them both, because we don't know who's going to show up or not. We
Yeah.
might have to redraft
If
them.
you get a hold of your ADs or your coaches, bring your jerseys with you so you can represent your school wearing your jersey.
Doors open at 4:45. The gate's only $5, which this guy is completely worried about because he said, we don't have enough capacity. And I said, you're absolutely right, and that's a good problem to have. But we'll see.
Parents, get there early with your kids to make sure you have a seat in the gymnasium, please. Because I started realizing as this thing builds how crazy this thing is getting. So we're going to sell out that gym. So if you want to be there, I'd recommend getting there at 4:45 when the doors open.
Shout out to Dave Davies and Coach Dennis Baker, really took the reins for this thing and made it what it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of trinkets ready for the boys, and we did talk about
girls.
this.
No, we got all kinds of things planned.
I meant to say kids. My bad. Boys and girls for sure.
Yeah, we got all kinds of things planned for y'all. It is going to be an absolute event. Can't wait.
All right, then. I was going to ask you about sponsors, but I don't want to put you on the spot right now.
No. We still have some time.
We still haven't decided. But anyway, folks, thank you everyone for joining us on our Cochise County Sports Show. I'm Paul Quarter. That's Dave Davies. This is always brought to you by Synergy Home Care, providing non-medical home care all across Cochise and Santa Cruz County. That means San Simon, Dave. That does mean Douglas. We go all over. 520-685-1035 for any non-medical home care.
Also, as you saw on your screen, brought to you by Vista Golf Center at Pueblo Del Sol. They have the Birdies for Bucks tournament. It's a great tournament. It's going to raise some scholarship money for some kids. And you need a reason to play golf. Get out there. Every day but today. You know, so funny. I have today off at work. This happens to me every time. I get to go golfing today. No, we're going to have 40-mile-an-hour gale force winds. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I won't go golfing today.
And it usually doesn't start until the afternoon. So you couldn't even wake up early because I was out there with my daughter at 7:30 taking her to her aunt's house. My goodness, we were getting blown over by that wind already. So.
Well, eventually I'll get to golf. Eventually.
No kidding, right? Thank you, everyone, again for joining us. Thank you to Dan the Danimal, Dan the Man Powers.
He's over there.
Who put all these graphics on because we could not deal with the elements today. So this is where
we would have been out there getting the wind blowing the hats all over the table.
There would have been no segments.
Enjoy the set because we're probably going to be here a little more often.
So thank you, everyone, again, joining us on Cool FM. Dan Powers, Dave Davies, I'm Paul Quarter, and we will see you tonight at Warren Ballpark.
This presentation of the Cochise County Sports Show with Paul and Dave brought to you by Synergy Home Care and Sierra Vista Golf Center. Tune in every Tuesday for new episodes right here on Cool FM Live.